So this will be recording, and don't worry, whatever, I edit these podcasts when they're done. So if you mess up or whatever, you say something and then you ask me later to have it edited out, we can talk about it. So,
Sounds
okay,
good.
I'm gonna hit it, and then we'll go from there. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. John likes tech and lives in Indiana, you know. Kevin likes the Dodgers and talks on the radio. John plays games on Xbox and on his Nintendo, while Kevin runs around LA with his mustachio. It's the Lack of Genius podcast, in your ear holes at last. They don't know they're Mars from Venus, that's why it's the Lack of Genius podcast. I feel like we have a guest today, John. It's good to see you, John.
Yeah, likewise. It's been a week or two.
I've been away at summer camp, and it's been a busy. So John and I feel like we haven't literally have a guest on that neither of us have talked to, except me through a few texts and emails. But Krager is on with us, so we'll just do a little round of applause by ourselves. And Krager is I'm gonna go ahead and just call you a master of all things Quidditch related. That's who we got. Krager, instead of me talking a whole bunch, I'll just say hello to you and tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How did you get involved with Quidditch? What is your knowledge base on that?
Hello, yes, my name is Kreger. I'm originally from Oceanside, which is North San Diego County. The way I got into Quidditch actually was back in high school. Me and some of my friends were going to UCLA our senior year. We'd already accepted and found out there was a Quidditch team there and talked about ahead of time, not actually knowing anything about the sport itself, just based off Harry Potter. And then it came around where we actually went to school there, and two of them, my good friend Lauren, was in it from the beginning, like really into it, and I was like iffy for a while, just like practice every now and then the first year, and then the second year I was in. And now, so let's see, that was 2014 was my first competitive year playing Quidditch. So now, almost like 8 years I've been playing. I've played for club teams, college teams, and now I actually coach UCLA.
Amazing. And you're probably dropping some knowledge that some of our listeners maybe didn't even know, that there are even club and college teams for Quidditch. And
Yeah.
you're currently the coach of UCLA's. I mean, is it technically a club team, or is it a
Yeah, so they're a college team, so I coach UCLA Quidditch, and then I play for a club team in LA called the Lost Boys Quidditch Club.
Wow. And so does the Lost Boys Quidditch Club play against like other regional teams? Is it all Southern California based? Like, what is the competition? Who do you play?
Yeah, so we play. There's a governing body called USQ that runs regionals and nationals across the country. So we play generally throughout the year. People in our region, sometimes out of region teams, depending on if we travel for tournaments or they travel here. And then we go to a regionals. That's mainly just teams in our region, and then compete at nationals, which is qualifying teams from across the country.
Do you have T-shirts for sale, merchandise for the Lost Boys Quidditch Club?
Oh,
I would rep them proudly.
my roommate Lindsay, who is the captain and marketing genius for Lost Boys, has plenty of merch.
That's great. I would look. Yes, A, I would love to see you play, but B, I would wear it even if I didn't, and I would just be a poser and be like, "Yeah, I'm all about it. I'm all about it."
Anything we could do to get the word out.
Sure, sure.
The funny thing is that we're recording this on July 31st. I honestly, like, I've seen the Harry Potter movies. I read enough of one book to know who it was that died when the book first came out, so I could spoil it for people if I wanted to, because I'm that person.
It's been a while.
But
It's been long enough.
yes.
Yeah.
But I got a text from Amazon because I signed up for like their treasure truck thing. Like, it's a daily thing, a special thing that's like sells out quick and stuff. Today is supposedly Harry Potter's birthday, so of all days for us to record Quidditch.
Wow. Yes, we drew it up that way, John. Let's not pretend like it's a coincidence. We planned this from day one.
Definitely, 100%.
And so Krager, one of the things we do is you don't normally, John and I quiz each other every week, and then when we have a guest on quizzing us, it's a little bit of a competition. We're trying to see who knows more. Now, full disclosure, I don't think I've read a full Harry Potter book. Now I have seen several of the movies. I one time was at a park and there was a Quidditch group playing and I was so enthralled by it, and because I love sports. I'm a little old now, but I was pretty athletic back in my day, and so I don't know who has the advantage on this between John and I, because it sounds like both of us are a little bit out of the know. Do you agree with that, John?
Probably.
And B, just sort of as a question to you, what drew you to Quidditch? Was it more the athleticism? Was it more, are you a big Harry Potter fan? Is it safe to assume that? How does that all line up?
Actually, the draw was like Harry Potter. I was a huge fan growing up, but I also played football growing up.
Oh,
And
cool.
when I got into Quidditch and started playing it, I was like, oh, I was in it for the physicality and like the actual sport of it all.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people that play that are like, some of them are huge Harry Potter fans. One of my other roommates who plays with us has never seen an entire movie or
Oh,
read the
that's
books,
fascinating.
but has been
Wow.
playing for years. The
Yeah.
founder of UCLA Quidditch is actually didn't read all the books and watch all the movies. He just knew a friend that started it back on the East Coast and was like, "Oh, this looks fun. I want to bring it to UCLA." So like, there's a lot of like intersecting things, but like, you don't need to know Quidditch or like be into it. And like, the sport itself is nothing like the ones in the books, right? It's a magical sport originally with like all these things happening. So obviously they can't be close to it. So
You're saying we can't actually fly? Is that what you're saying? That's not part of the
yeah,
sport, is what you're saying.
Not on
yeah,
brooms.
unfortunately,
Not
no.
on purpose.
Yeah, but there's some sick dunks though, where people are jumping in the air.
Oh, nice, nice. We're gonna have to get a highlight reel going. That's fantastic. Uh, well, very nice. Did you have anything, John? I want to make sure I'm not cutting you off.
No, I'm good.
Okay, we're gonna play our tidy up jingle. We have a section called tidy up, and we'll explain all that. You don't have you just have to sit there and look pretty like you're doing. I'm gonna hit that jingle. Here we go.
Tidy up before we go any further with the show. Tidy up before we go fix our mistakes tonight. I wanna get it right. Tidy up.
Krager, I don't know if you're a music fan. I feel like sometimes that's just everyone's a music fan. So like, what? I don't even want to ask that question. But part of why I ask is because when we do this tidy up section, we basically are tidying up mistakes that we maybe made in the previous episode. Which our previous episode was on one-hit wonders, and we were perfect. We didn't get anything wrong, so we have nothing actually to tidy up. But I just wonder, like, for you, for where you're coming from, when you hear the word one-hit wonders, what comes to mind? What song? What artist?
Oh, one hit wonders.
Not to put you on the spot, but is that something that's in your sort of in your
Yeah.
universe?
Um, I ran so far away, but I think it was like Flock of Seagulls.
Flock of Seagulls, yes.
Um, And then I think like, part of me feels like Shaggy. It wasn't me, but I know he
Yeah.
did kind of have more songs.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna be at a music festival I'm going to actually, where
he is.
he's still performing.
He's had a what's the word? A reprisal, a comeback. He did
Yeah.
that Little Mermaid. He was
Oh,
he was
yeah,
the,
he was Sebastian,
lobster.
wasn't he?
Sebastian. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's funny because we don't need to get into the whole thing right now, but there is a difference between sort of a literal definition of a one-hit wonder, which Shaggy may not fit that, but a cultural definition, I definitely consider Shaggy a one-hit wonder. It's like he sort of came up, had that big hit, and everyone still knows it today. So yeah, great choice. The one thing we will tidy up. Sometimes we do business-related things. John, do you want to lead us into this, and I'll kind of follow up?
Yeah. So, I know at least one person has noticed, but others may have noticed that our social media presence has dwindled a little bit, and that's
Yep.
mainly just because of life.
Yep.
Life is busy. So Kevin and I have been talking, and if there happens to be someone that wants to volunteer to be our social media guru,
Yeah.
we will provide stuff to you, and you post it. It's about as simple as that, I think.
We will give you all of our passwords. We'll give you our ATM pins. We'll give you our social security numbers. Yeah, echoing what John said. John's got a newborn at home. He's got a house that he congratulations, John, on a refurbished kitchen, I believe. I don't know if
It's
that's
not,
the right
it's not
word.
completely done, but we're getting
Yeah.
closer.
John's busy. I have personal reasons that I'm not on social media. I sometimes peek on there, but I'm not on there very often. So a helping hand would be awesome. We can't. I don't know if we can like legally call it an internship, but we take it as a maybe if somebody wants to flex their skills of social media. You know how to reach us on the various social medias and on our email lackofgenius@gmail.com is probably our email. I don't know.
And actually, that just reminded me of another tidy up. This goes back to our camp episode.
Oh yes.
Um,
Episode on our home summer camps, Craig. Or Camp Laverne for me in Southern California and Camp Mack in Indiana for John.
Oh, nice.
Someone had asked a question and I hadn't gotten back. This is actually Dylan's mom.
Oh, cool. Yes.
She said she enjoyed listening to the quiz, and she also listened to our camp episode. And she grew up in North Manchester and going to Camp Mack. And then she moved to San Diego, where they started attending the Church of the Brethren there. And they went to some family camps at Laverne. And she then said, John, you mentioned someone growing up in North Manchester. Who was that, and when were they there? I wonder if I knew them. Well, Karen, that's a fairly long list of people that have lived in North Manchester. However, my mom's mother, with the maiden name of Ulrich, grew up there, while my mom, my dad, my uncle, myself, and my sister all went to Manchester, as well as my mom's father for a semester. So we've got lots of people there, or had lots of people there, but yeah. So to answer your question, a lot of people.
A lot of people. The roots run deep. And what was her name again? Linda? Did I make that up?
Karen.
Karen. Sorry, wrong name. Karen. I'm sure knew every single one of those people that you just mentioned. So I think you probably answered accurately. All right. Everyone feel tidied up?
I think so.
All right, Craig. We're gonna hit our quiz time jingle, and then it'll be your time to shine. All right. Here we go.
It's time to take a quiz or two. Like a Genius podcast doing this for you. You may fail, but it ain't no lie, baby, it's quiz time. Don't really want this quiz to be tough. I just want to pass one cause I failed enough. It might sound crazy, but it ain't no lie, baby, it's quiz time.
Were you an NSYNC fan or a Backstreet Boys guy, Krager?
Well, my sister was a huge NSYNC fan growing up. Proxy, I wasn't.
Proxy. That's kind of funny because I think I have that same answer for Backstreet Boys. My sister was a Backstreet Boys gal, and so so I just kind of have and there was a guy named Kevin in that group, so I'm like, all right, that's my name, so
Makes sense.
out. But until our boy band episode happens, we can pause that, and we'll move into Quidditch, where our expert UCLA coach for the Quidditch club team, Krager, and team member of the Lost Boys. What is it again? Lost Boys Quidditch Club?
Quidditch Club. Yep.
All right. Is here to quiz us, 5-question quiz about Quidditch. So I'll let you kind of take the reins, Krager, and we'll just follow your lead.
Sounds good. So I felt like it just makes sense. The sport is actually not going by Quidditch anymore as of, I think, a week ago, a few days ago, not even a week yet.
This is fresh. This is hot off the presses.
Yep. The sport formerly known as Quidditch has now rebranded. What is it known
Is
as?
it just a symbol?
Is it the
That
Prince
would
symbol?
be-
It's the Prince symbol, isn't it?
That'd be great.
All right. What are our choices here?
All right, we got A, quid ball.
Wow.
Strike, C, quad ball, and
Oh my gosh. I have no clue. That's amazing. I also assume there will be follow-up to this, so I'll hold off on a question. But let me hear those choices again. It's can you just read them off again for us?
Yeah. Quid strike, quad ball.
What do you,
I'm
do you
I'm
have
thinking
thoughts,
A,
John?
quid ball.
I know quid ball sounds so okay. Quid ball sounds like a solid choice, right? Like
Yeah.
if it was called that, I'd be okay with that. But it also sounds like a good choice to make up if you needed to make up a choice. So I don't know. Quid strike. That is solid too. That's got a certain badassness to it, for lack of better words. Are you gonna choose quid ball, John?
Yep, I am.
I'm gonna go with quid strike because I kind of want it to be quid strike. So there we go. How do we do?
All right, unfortunately, y'all are wrong. Although those were,
Well, so which one was
Those-
it?
it's quad ball.
Quad ball. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I need to hear
That
about all
reminds
of
me
this.
of Foursquare.
It does kind of remind me of Foursquare. Yeah, it does.
So,
So what?
the,
Yeah. So what was the thought process behind this? Why did this come up? Is it controversial? Is it accepted?
There are a couple primary reasons why the name change happened. One was that like we kind of want to distance ourselves from J.K. Rowling. Seems like
Yeah.
she has like some not really the best views, and just like that, like not even the original three cast members agree.
Yeah, she's
But
kind of gone off the
another-
deep end. Yeah.
Yeah, but another huge part of it was that Quidditch is trademarked.
I
Like it's
figured.
owned by Warner, I guess, like, and by proxy J.K. Rowling, and we're like, we can't make money off of this. Like, if we want to try to grow, if we want to try and like get sponsorship, like we can't because there's just a worry of being sued. So, Quid Ball and Quid Strike were official options survey of like which do you think, like community survey of like which do you think is best. I personally was on the Quid Ball train,
Yeah.
but it ended up going with Quad Ball, I think, for multiple reasons. One, it's a little more different from the original Quidditch, so like legally it's safer.
Yep.
Also, it refers to the four positions: chaser, beater, keeper, seeker, names that may also change in the coming up soon. And
Yeah.
balls that are used at the same time on pitch, just in one quaffle. So it at least ties into the sport.
And are all of those terms that you mentioned, are they all part of the book right now, and that's why they might all be changed too?
Yeah, especially things like snitch and
Yeah.
and quaffle might be the more difficult ones.
Yeah.
Things
Well, I
like
mean, snitch
keeper-
may not be that bad because snitch was a thing before Harry Potter was.
It's
That's
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, that is yeah, go ahead. Do you have more?
Oh yeah, no, I was just literally a week happening. But since that's happened, there's going to be quad ball now on ESPN, the Ocho,
Yes.
in August.
Which is the best network to be spawned from a movie just as a joke. I can't believe they actually did that. That is so fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
That is great.
was on CBS in Boston. A local match out there was on
Awesome.
bus. So literally within couple weeks, we were able to be like, okay, we can be on air, like we can be on
Yep.
TV and like spread the word.
Do you know what league or what kind of play the Ocho is going to be showing? Like, is there a chance your league is going to be highlighted on that, or college clubs?
No, specifically going to be between the U.S. national team,
it.
and they're going to be the two out there
Cool.
will be televised. Other sports on there are going to be like pickleballs on there, corgi racing. There's
Corgi
random
racing.
ones.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
corgi racing's up
Please
there.
tell me in corgi racing they put a little like fake cowboy or something on their back and let them run. That's what I want to see.
No, not cowboys. You got little dolls of the Queen.
There you go. Yes, thank you, John. This is why we need you in the room at all times. That's great.
Also, just remember, Kevin.
Yes.
Snitches get stitches.
Yes, this is true. This is true. I don't know if that's true in quad ball, but I'm sure we can make that happen.
It's like the snitch is a pretty action. They're usually a big wrestler type, like a lot of physicality.
There you go. So if someone were to get stitches, it would indeed be the snitch. Is very nice, very nice. Well, we both missed that question, and of course, if you have more, go ahead. But if you're ready for number 2, we're ready for you.
All right, number 2. How many different teams participated in the most recent World Cup in 2018?
Do we get options, or is this just
Yeah.
we have to take?
Oh,
Okay,
I got you. Yeah, we got
thank you.
23, 29, or 35.
Wow.
So a quick question here.
Yeah.
Does this go like NFL playoffs, or is this more like actual World Cup playoffs where you have round robins that then feed into a playoff?
It's round or so the World Cup is in it's open ended. So any national team that can field a team and qualifies can go to World Cup to participate. And then
Okay.
when they're there, it does do like a round robin to bracket type
Okay.
situation.
Gotcha.
And,
And when did this
and,
happen? This just happened?
The most recent one it was 2018. It's been kind of pushed back a bit because of COVID.
COVID. Got it. Got it. 16, 23, 29, or 35, correct?
Yeah.
Oh boy. John, what do you think?
um, I'm gonna go with 23.
Yeah, yeah. John and I often give each other these sort of number questions, and it's like it's always so tricky because it's like I want to choose the high one because I want to be like, yeah, go quad ball. I hope it's the most, but maybe it's the least, and I'm gonna choose the big one. I'm gonna choose the 35. John, you're sticking with 23, right?
Yep.
All right. Did either of us get it?
Nah, unfortunately not.
We are proving our lack of genius, aren't we?
We are.
Y'all went on just on the outsides of what it actually was. It's 29.
29. Amazing. 29
Yep.
different countries, correct?
29 different country depending on who you ask, like Hong Kong.
Gotcha.
There
Hong Kong?
also was there was also a team Taiwan, which again I think is a country, but other people why not? And there's also I think a team Catalonia, which is like a specific region in Spain, because there's and a team Catalonia specifically.
I definitely thought
But
that was like a moon of Mercury or something. And I was like, all right,
No.
we'll take them. They can enter the tournament.
Catalonia is completely different than the rest of Spain. Like it should be its own country.
yeah, I think they
Gotcha.
It's
tried
kind
to
of like
have
how
votes for
Quebec might.
independence.
Yeah, kind of like Quebec in Canada.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool. I had no idea. I'm learning. Thank you for the geography lesson. This is great.
But yeah, I've yet to go to a World Cup. Hopefully, I think the next one is slated to be in Richmond, Virginia.
Cool.
I think pushed back to next year if I'm correct. So like even if I don't end up playing, I would love to just go there and watch. It could be some really high level Quidditch.
Have they
Quad ball, I
previously
guess
been
it would
held
be there.
quad ball? I know
Yeah.
it's gonna take some getting used to. It's funny because I was thinking about I play ultimate frisbee and we've done episodes on ultimate frisbee and
Just
even
ultimate.
even me calling it ultimate frisbee right now is incorrect. It's a disc, and I
Yeah.
support the American Ultimate Disc League. It's not frisbee league, and I can't tell you how many times I'm not anything special. I just play pickup games and things, but how many times people call it the ball, oh, go get the ball, throw the ball in. And so I can only imagine with quid ball, how with the changes of names, it's going to take
Quad ball.
years to quad ball. Yes.
Yeah.
What did I say? Quid ball? Whatever. There's going to be frisbees on the field for quid ball and quid strike and quad ball. It's whatever. That's all.
It's gonna take a lot.
It's going to take a while. I forget if I got this question out because I went on a rant, but is it usually hosted in America, the World Cup? Has it been in the past or has it been everywhere?
So the original World Cups, like back when it was like only the U.S. playing and they still called it World Cup, happened here. But
Gotcha.
once it actually transferred to there being an international association,
Got
U.S. calling themselves the world.
Yeah, baseball, for example, the World
yeah.
Series.
Still don't understand
Since
that.
then, yeah. Since then, it has not been hosted in the U.S.
Gotcha.
Technically, the early ones could be called World Cups because like Canada teams participated in the. But yeah, this will be
Gotcha,
the
yeah.
first time. It's mostly held in the Europe area because that's where the higher concentration of, I feel like, is in Europe.
Way easier to travel between country and to country there, and
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Just a little cheaper.
Yeah, that as well.
Just a tad.
Very nice. Well, I do hope that we get to see you in some World Cup action down the line there, Krager, and keep us posted on your journey as that goes. We'll be rooting for you.
I'll definitely let you know.
Cool, cool. All right, well, we are off to an 0 for 2 start. Are you ready to give us number 3 and see how bad we can do?
Let's see. So on
These
the
are very
topic
fair
of-
questions. We've just happened to
Yeah.
really miss them.
and
You didn't
and
make
that's
this
why,
thing crazy hard.
And that who's watched the books and movies earlier on. It's like, oh, none of these questions have any.
Doesn't matter at
truly
all.
The sport.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Yeah.
All right, so while we're on the topic of World Cup, who is the only other country besides the U.S. to have won a World Cup? We have Australia, the United Kingdom, and Vietnam.
Wow. Those are great choices. Who else besides? So the U.S. has won quite a few, it sounds like. And so
Yeah.
who else has won? Australia, UK, Canada, or Vietnam? Those are they run the gamut there. Vietnam sticks out to me because it's Australia, UK. They're not Western necessarily, but yeah, it's oh yeah, I guess that's. Anyways, I'm kind of going on a rant. Vietnam stands out to me as very different, as a very out of the blue choice, which almost makes me want to pick it. But I will say Canada came to mind, and when you said Australia, I'm like, oh yeah, this sounds like an Australian thing, doesn't it? So I don't know. I'm not sure yet. What are you thinking, John?
I mean, the fact that he said, the snitches are more your wrestling type. I'm gonna go with Australia. They've got good rugby players, so I could see that kind of switching over.
That's true. That's true. That reminds me that I'm curious what kind of athlete would venture into quad ball. We can get into that. So you're going to choose Australia. I think just because I made mention of it, I'm going to choose Vietnam and just see if my gut was right. All right. So what do we got?
The correct answer is Australia.
Oh, John taking the lead, and I'm falling behind quickly. Very interesting. So U.S. sounds like a powerhouse in this sport, or is it just purely based off of participation, or are they that good? Are we that good?
It's really like the big part of it is that the sport was in the U.S.
Gotcha.
Like we have dozens of teams own, whereas like a lot of countries like have a lot that just haven't had the development and time with the sport.
Yep.
Like we just have the biggest population to pull from of players, people who like actively play. But yeah, like Australia, and so not players. They're like like another like how the golden snitches you catch.
Yeah.
Which in quad ball is somebody with like a flag attached to their back, like similar to like a flag football, and the seekers have to try to catch that.
Got it.
The snitches are usually big physical people pushing people around, but Australia has some big players. And it's really useful for chasers who score. It's like rugby. There is tackling involved. It is a full contact sport, so part of it is if you can have people that are more physical, it does help your game.
Amazing. So does it kind of run the gamut then? Because I also think about like, are you going to have kind of maybe more, I don't know if slender is the right word, but faster sort of slender people for different positions and then kind of bigger people for
Kevin
other
just wants to
positions?
know what position he can play.
I am curious. Yeah, I would like to know. I'm far from slender anymore, but yeah, like does it run the gamut? Do you get all body shapes and sizes come into play?
Definitely. I would say there's people from lots of different sport body types. We have people that come into quad ball with no experience in team sports. We have people that have played soccer, people that have played football, people that have just like ran track. And it's really a spot for anyone in their play style. Sure, it helps to have like big physical people, but also helps to have really like fast and agile people. And it's like your team will figure out what their strengths are and how to work with it. And especially into the game, which is the beaters are positions that to knock people out. So like you have like dodgeball people, like I've seen people that used to play baseball that just have really good arm accuracy. So there really is space for every.
My mind is going crazy right now because I'm like, I want to play, but I'm not that, because I played dodgeball. Man, John, we've done all the sport. You just mentioned all the sports that we've done episodes on. We did an episode on Ultimate. We did an episode on rugby. We did an episode on dodgeball. So we're in the right
I
wheelhouse.
mean, and we've kind of done an episode on baseball.
Yeah, you're right. We have on my favorite team, and we did one from Wrigley Field, and yes, so we're in the right wheelhouse for sure. God, I'm literally so excited that I can't even remember what my question was going to be, other than where could, if someone's listening to this right now, like, what is the best way to get involved right now? Is it just Google the word quadball/Quidditch and local and see what comes up?
I think the easiest thing to truly would be US Quadball website, or just searching Quidditch/quad or Facebook to see what pops up near you.
Sure.
Across the country, like in LA, there's Lost Boys. There's a few teams, some teams in like Texas is a powerhouse.
Wow.
Unsurprisingly, I think if I was
Yeah.
talking about physical, Texas has
Yep.
pumped out some really good teams. The East Coast, since that's where it started, there's a lot of because they're such close together states, so much easier for them to like travel and to like get to tournaments, as opposed to like the West, like we have to travel. There is a team called Anteaters Forever based off of UCI, the Anteaters.
cool.
So this
Anteaters,
is a club
yep.
team that has like a lot of graduates. They're in SoCal, but there's like two teams in SoCal, whereas there's like three, four, five, who knows how many in the Boston area. East Coast, like, yeah.
This podcast is a pretty big deal, just to pat our own backs a little bit. So there will be more Southern California teams after this episode gets released. It'll be a boom of quad ball. That's obviously, I say that tongue in cheek, but yeah, I love that we're doing our part to spread the word, because I'm sure somewhere out there someone's listening who wants to join, and numbers might increase, or you can start your own league, start your own team. Where are the Lost Boys based out of in LA? Where do they play?
So we mainly practice in North Hollywood, and then sometimes Torrance. So we'll do different practices there because we have players at Long Beach. We have, and we also like even have out-of-state players. We have had out-of-state players before,
Gotcha.
to us in some way or other that decided they wanted to play for us.
Cool.
So like mainly North Hollywood and Torrance.
Yeah, this part might be edited out just because I'm more personally interested, but I grew up, we did an episode on Lomita, my hometown, so I grew up right next to Torrance. So where do you guys play in Torrance? I'm more just curious.
So I feel like there was that we used to play at.
No way!
Yes. I remember that being in the, I don't know if that's the one we play at right now, but at some point we either at Lomita Park.
Yep, that's the park I learned to play basketball and soccer and baseball at, and we even played ultimate frisbee there in our pickup league for a couple months. So yeah, that's my home park. That's incredible.
Wow. Yeah, even when you said you'd like seen this before, like you remember where.
Yeah, Long Beach has a big giant park with a lake in it that I'm forgetting the name of right now. It was in Long Beach though. I think so. Whaley? That sounds familiar. It's right off. I'm sure if anyone from Long Beach is hearing this, they'll be like, I know what park you're talking about. Whaley Park, Long Beach. That might be it. It was just like a, oh yeah, Whaley with an H. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
It might have been Whaley, but it was just like, it looked like just kind of a pickup game, and it was mostly younger people, kind of like high school kids.
Yeah.
So, and this was probably 6-7 years ago, it was a while back.
Yeah.
But I was very entertained.
Yeah. There was a Long Beach team called the Long Beach Funky Quaffles that unfortunately disbanded a few. They were
Bummer.
They were around for quite a bit, and so that's why I was like, if you've seen this played in SoCal, I probably know the team.
Probably so. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be hiding out at Lomita Park every weekend now and looking for. I'm gonna find some quad ball action. I'm gonna make sure they know it's called quad ball now too.
Yeah. We practice that now.
Okay.
But yeah, torrents.
Gotcha. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them
Yeah,
for sure.
that's what makes it good for like planning tournaments too. Like we have a lot of our tournaments when we actually host tournaments. They're
Uh-huh.
because it's
Yeah.
easy to find fields there and like to go through the city. Like it's you just go reserve a park.
Yep. Yep. Oh, I
So-
know it.
So
Go-
one quick question, Krager. What's the overall like the U.S. governing body for quad ball now?
It's U.S. quad ball.
U.S. quad ball.
USQ.
Yeah, USQ.
Field USQ.
I was just trying to find the website for him because I wanted to see if there was an Indiana team.
Yeah, I'm curious. I wonder if there is.
There-
That's where John is.
So there's two. There's USQ, which happens from like September through nationals in April, and then there's a summer team called Major League Quidditch, which will
Okay.
soon be Major League Quad Ball because they're still in the middle of their season. And that's usually like seen as like a higher competition. Like you have to try out for those teams. You can't just start a team. Like it's like a whole thing. And there's definitely a team called Indianapolis Intensity.
I found that, but I mean, looking at the list, like okay, it is co-ed, so okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was starting off like just more female names, and then I hadn't scrolled down far enough, so.
It's also
Cool.
that like this website US Quad Ball literally just dropped like recently
days ago.
because like made a whole new website. They're like, okay, we can like drop our new website with the name change.
Right.
So I
Yeah, and
I
so-
haven't even personally looked through it a lot yet.
In some ways, getting on the train now is you can say you were there from the start if you hop on the quad ball train now, even if you haven't been involved with Quidditch before. Technically, you'd be like, I was there from day one. So
Yeah, my dream would be for if this does blow up and become big, that like my two main teams, UCLA and Lost, somehow stick with it long enough that like and because I'm sure like if it reaches that point, I will be much older and much
Yeah.
more out of shape. But just to like have those be like, oh, these are two of the primary teams now that still exist. Like, for example, we
totally.
get one of the first sponsors. Like now we can get sponsors and like have
Yeah.
not have to worry about like the potential of like getting sued or what'll happen. So
Yep.
in time.
Cool.
Ball State is listed on the map, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Ball State was they had a really good run one year at nationals. I think they hit like either Elite Eight or top four one of their years. I don't know how they're doing right now. The pandemic truly like knocked out a lot of teams.
Yeah.
So it's rough.
Well, it's like in many ways it's kind of like a small business, right? It's
Yeah.
you're trying to grow, and the last thing you need is for the entire world to shut down because that's who's going to take the hit. So it is
Exactly.
exciting in a sort of optimistic way that here we are in 2022 with like, all right, we're starting to build back up, and I'm excited for you and for your teams, and I do hope that those dreams come to fruition. That would be amazing.
And I don't know if this is just a temporary thing, but I do appreciate the logo on the U.S. Quad Ball website. The
Oh,
What is it? Can you describe it?
Is it still the one with the cape?
well, yeah, it's still one with the cape, but then it's got like a shield behind it that's very exclusive.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, it does sound, just based on some of the things you said, it does sound like it's a very inclusive sport, which is great. I'm game for anything that is that.
Yeah, it's definitely like a huge draw, I think, for a lot of people in the sport that have felt left out of other areas in sports. Sometimes like things can get very exclusive at times, depending on like culture, sport, region, wherever.
Sure.
So I think that's been like a huge draw for some people, definitely.
That's great. That's exciting. Well, very nice. We're 3 questions in. John's got a 1-point lead on me. Have going 1 for 3, and we'll see what happens on number 4.
Alrighty, so this is a true false question, kind of in the wheelhouse of what we were just talking about, but so, quad ball players are differentiated by their assigned 6 at birth in the rule book. True or false?
Ooh. Okay, say that one more time just to make sure that I understand.
Quad ball players are differentiated by their assigned 6 at birth in the rule book. True or false?
I would have to assume that's probably false because if
Same.
they go ahead, John.
Yeah, I mean it.
Because I feel like if they were only differentiated, because I guess sort of you could rephrase that question as, well, no, it's not quite that, but like as are players only differentiated as male or female? And I would guess that that's probably not the case, and that maybe in fact those two genders are maybe not even mentioned at all. Like maybe gender is just something that doesn't even exist in the rule book. I don't know. It could be any number of things, but that's why just those possibilities lead me towards thinking that might be false. What do you think, John? I'm going to choose false.
Yeah, yeah, false.
All right. How do we do?
Correct.
Yay! That is very cool. Tell us about this. I'd love to learn more.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, looking through, it is a co-ed sport. Players of all genders are welcome to play, and the only way that your gender is differentiated by, so
Wow.
it's like I'm non-binary,
Got it.
so that is like what my gender is when I play, and the reason it doesn't matter is that in the rule book there is a max for gender. So it's a four
Oh,
player max. So you can only have four players on the field at a time of the same gender. So you can't
wow.
just like run a team of all women. You can't run a team and
Wow.
like that. You have to inclusive. Like you have to work with your team to have that balance. To
Can you run a team of all non-binary?
Yeah, I
so
had that same question. Technically, does that come up?
it hasn't come up. I have had somebody bring up that have a line once of all different genders because while some people were non-binary, they were a specific. Their non-binary is a very umbrella term. So like there are some people that are gender fluid, some people here. But
Yeah.
theoretically, if you found like for a gender, like specifically, you can't have a fifth. Uh,
Got it.
Six, like if that is how they specifically identify. Theoretically, I suppose you could get non-binary umbrella term people, but
Yes.
I mean, I would love to find enough of that representation to even attempt to do that.
Be a good problem to run into. Be a good
Yeah,
problem to run into.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so something I've seen.
Yeah. Well, round of applause for the sport of quad ball, just because I love that
Yeah.
this is something that is because we all know especially if you go to the highest level, like you go to the Olympics. I know there's a lot of controversy around gender, and it's nice to see that a sport in its early development is already kind of having these guidelines and being
Mm-hmm.
inclusive, and I love that. I love to hear that. I'm so glad you shared that
Yeah.
question.
It's I think like I said before, draw that like that you're gonna be working of at least usually a similar mindset of that inclusivity and really the so
Yeah, sometimes I know I keep bringing up Ultimate, but that's been one of my draws to it, is that there's sort of a general vibe of good sportsmanship, good attitudes, kind of playing fair,
Yeah.
playing with integrity. And it's probably a different level. I'm sure all sports are a different level, but that is I love the athleticism of any sport, but when that attitude, when good positive attitudes and inclusivity and whatnot all exist, that's even a bigger draw. So yeah, I'm checking out some Lost Boys merchandise. You better believe it. Well, very nice. Did you have anything else on that for us before we move on to number 5?
no, I think
So so John's got 2 for 4. I'm 1 for 4. So the best I can do is tie, and if John you get this right, you seal your win. So let's see
Yep.
what happens.
all right. So, which West region went the furthest at nationals in Salt Lake City this past year?
Okay.
We have UCLA, the Lost Cal
Oh,
Quidditch, and Salt Lake Quidditch Club.
wow.
So
Love
a
it.
question here, Krager.
Yeah.
Um, does UCLA ever play against Lost Boys?
So, this USQ Nationals, there were no college club division splits, but that has been a split now. That's at nationals, there is now a club division and a college division. So theoretically, some of these teams could have tied to be for this, since there's some college, some club, or maybe
Gotcha.
not. But
Well, I guess
Yeah.
my question more of was what would have happened if those two teams played for you?
there.
Or should we answer this question first?
No, this has happened actually.
Okay.
So season teams can still play each other, or like can play college, play club, club play college, and there was a tournament December, I think it was, where UCLA sent a team and to a tournament where there was only other clubs playing. Team there, but because they were unofficial, I was able. So the tournament director was like, okay with me playing for both, especially since UCLA had a lot of new. And there was a time where it was UCLA versus.
No way.
Yeah, and I in play for UCLA because I never get to play against my team.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they
Yep.
needed the help. Like we got this
They were
team
newer.
full of like 5, 6, 7 year vets versus some people who was their first season playing. Like I'm
Sure.
the UCLA in that scenario.
You knew maybe the odds were against you that team if you were going, but that maybe added to the fun of it, right?
Yeah.
So did Lost Boys end up winning that match?
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Handed.
big time. But how cool to play against, and you probably know kind of the techniques that your players use, and you can kind of anticipate it. But yeah, that's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fantasy in this summer. There's a lot of like fantasy tournaments that happen where like everybody just signs up as individuals, and then like 4 GMs will like draft a team.
Cool.
And one of my like beater partners, because there's 2 beaters per team on the field at one time, and like playing against him is so annoying because I'm like he knows.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Yeah, he faked me out to make me jump because he knows that's like a move I have. But then once I'm in the air, he's like, "Oh, well, you can't do anything here," and then hit me while I was in. You know me too well.
You're like inside my brain. Get out of there. That's great.
So would you say that he's a master at being the beater?
Oh,
Yeah, I
John,
think
did we
I
have to go
would
there?
say that he is.
No, wait, that was just this one. I'm saying no to that one. Nah, you had to go there. That's probably not the first time you've heard a joke similar to that, is it, Krager?
Nah.
You know what? I did hit all of those buzzers, but at the same time, I also feel like I also want to give you a round of applause. I both hate it and love it all at the same time. That's what I'm saying. Okay, we got a question to answer. So again, this is the
Right.
last time that. How was the question worded again?
Which one went the furthest at nationals in Salt Lake City this past season,
Got
this
it.
past April?
This past April, and it was UCLA, Lost Boys Quidditch Club, Cal Quidditch, or Salt Lake Quidditch Club. I would be humble enough that even if it's not UCLA or Lost Boys, you'd probably still include this question. But I'm gonna opt on the side that you included this to get a shout out to one of your teams in. So I'm gonna choose the Lost Boys Quidditch Club.
Same.
Just going on that. You're gonna choose the same thing.
Yep.
All right, so that means you win. But let's see if Lost Boys Quidditch Club also wins.
All right, so it was a slight trick in that 2 of these teams tied to go the
Okay.
furthest. The Lost Boys Quidditch Club went to Elite 8 in club. Quidditch got to the Elite 8 in college.
Wow. So we both did get it right, and it was so we had a 50-50 shot, is what you're saying at that question.
Yeah.
We came through successful. That's very cool. Cal being like Berkeley, right?
Berkeley, yep.
Cool. That is fantastic. How cool. How exciting was that for you?
Truly like a lot of that's the highest level competition of Quidditch I feel like I've personally played. And in that Elite 8 game, it was just so much fun. We ended up losing. We didn't make it to the Final Four, but it was one of the most fun games to just be playing at that high level against these other great teams, especially because the East is just generally more well known than the West in Quidditch.
Yeah.
Names on that team that I've heard of before, be like, oh, these are such great beaters, such great players, and to be able to play them and be like, oh, I can keep up with them. It
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
a lot of fun. And so yeah, I'm hoping to make it even further next year.
Yeah, I hope so too for you and your team. And what yeah, what a cool experience. Because again, there are these people that you find you can match skills with. They maybe just have more experience, or their team is stronger built, or whatever it might be. But it's got to give you good hope that yeah, we're going to keep building here on the West Coast and keep driving. And I would guess, you literally said the word high level. Salt Lake City is pretty high altitude too. Did you find like did that affect play at all?
Yeah, I think it did just like gas you just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it didn't compare to like I played a fantasy tournament in Denver once, and I don't
Oh
know
yeah.
which the altitude like what the difference is, but
Yeah.
that one felt so much more rough than
Yeah.
Salt Lake. But
Where you
also the
stood
fact
there
it
on
had
the
just
on the
been
sidelines like Tom Brady, just like sucking in oxygen out of a mask or something.
Yeah, you did.
yeah,
You
I
got
was
Can't
like,
handle it.
yes.
it would just feel weird because I'd go in for a few plays and then I'd be like, oh, I gotta take a sub. Like back,
Yeah.
my body doesn't feel tired, but like I just cannot keep going. Like I was like but yeah, Salt Lake. I also might have just been in better shape. That might have been
Yeah,
part,
yeah. Could have been either.
but yeah, it definitely was not a non-factor.
Wow. Well, congratulations on all the success of your
Yeah.
various teams. And how long have you been the coach of UCLA club?
UCLA, last season was my first time ever coaching a team ever. So
All
it
right.
was a lot of fun, really rewarding, not experienced before. And UCLA actually got to Sweet 16, so
All
still
right.
did pretty well. And I'm also excited to like come back to after learning like what went wrong and like what I could have improved on.
So is that a paid position or is it just a volunteer? Or...
Volunteer. I wish it was paid.
Yeah.
I actually
Trust me.
yeah, at UCLA, and that's how I first started. But then I took a break, and then
Mhm.
came in 2020 to finish my degree. So last year I could have played for UCLA. Like I was
Got it.
eligible because I was going to, but I was like, I've been playing a while, and it would just kind of feel like off to me to be like playing against like potentially like brand new.
Right.
And I was
Hmm.
like, I'll just play with one, push me to be better, and also just like I was still plenty around with UCLA and like hanging out with them and like at practice and helping them. Like, I'm the only thing I'm not doing for y'all is playing, but there were plenty of people there that wanted me to play for them. I was like, nah, sorry.
Well, congrats regardless of
Yeah.
volunteer or not. It's like anything, as it grows, a lot of times these are the sacrifices that individuals have to make. Is I got to do it just because I love it. And so you
Yeah.
are a person that is helping to grow this sport, and I think that's fantastic. And I wish you all the success as you move forward. You've kind of already answered this question, but what is the best way that somebody can support quad ball? Can people, do you get crowds that come out to your game? Can people go out and support if they just want to watch? What can a listener do right now if they want to support the sport?
Yeah, I think the best thing would be looking up a local team on their major league Quidditch to become Major League Quad Ball or U.S. Quad Ball, and then follow their social media because that's where you'll find when they post about events and like where they're going to be once the season gets going for USQ. U.S. Quad Ball will have events listed on there. Anytime a tournament is hosted, they have to post it there, and it has to be 2 weeks in advance of the event. So just really going on there, supporting social media, and then going out to games when they do happen. Unfortunately, there's not always a very regular
Hmm.
timing of when things happen, but
Right.
it's just like getting the word out, watching when you can, and even like just watching YouTube videos of it, of past
Yeah.
games or like highlights, and like sharing that. Like, whoa, like look how cool this looks. Like, see how
Yeah.
like athletic, how this is like a sport that like requires like a lot of skill and like talent. And so, yeah, I would say that that's it.
Well, I can't promise this is we're about to wrap up, and I can't promise that this will be the last time that I bring up Ultimate again. But that's much the same with Ultimate as someone who played that. You know, when I would they were like, but if I showed them a highlight video and they'd be like, oh my gosh, this is legit. That was a selling point, and I'm sure the same is true of these various. I'm gonna go and look up some highlights right after we finish this. So that's a fantastic idea, and I have to say the word community keeps coming to mind for me. It sounds like this Quidditch/quad ball community is very much a thing. It sounds like you probably all support each other. My guess would be that there's, you get along well with your competitors. Maybe I'm assuming, but I would guess that that's a thing because there's sort of that tight-knit community. So, A, is that true? And B, keep doing it if that's the case, because it sounds great.
Yeah. I mean, I think like with any competitive things, like, you get competitive and sometimes things happen on the field. Like, it is a physical sport. People get cards. But I think overall it is an inclusive community. I have friends literally all across the country, in Canada, because of quad ball, and people that are like, when you're in town, like, for tournaments, and like other people housing people when they come in for tournaments, because like you're already traveling there, like if you can help with housing too, perfect. Cool. So I do think like a huge part of it is the community and like really trying to help the sport grow, because at the end of the day we all love playing this sport that like is just not well known, and like it's like takes a lot to like of everybody, like even helping it grow is by just playing or watching. Like that's immensely helpful.
Cool. Well, I'm about to pat our own back. I'm glad we're doing our part in spreading the word, but no, I'm glad that we could have you on and that you did such a great job of spreading the word. We can't wait to start making money as a podcast so that we can slap a Lack of Genius podcast sponsorship logo on your uniforms. So fingers crossed that we get there for you. But all the success in the world to you, Krager, on your teams and on your continued voyage. And thanks for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been a fun time.
Cool. Go Lost Boys, go UCLA. We'll be rooting for you. All right, awesome. I'm going to hit stop on our record.
Cool.